Hey everybody, I'm ML7, and Blizzard gave me the chance to participate in this community crafted patch alongside Apply, OC, and Gushwei. And in this video, I'll be explaining how and why I changed every support the way that I did. The changes you'll try out are not necessarily an attempt at balancing the heroes. They're more about opening discussions, about helping the heroes that might have outdated kits in 2026 considering all the recent hero releases we've had, looking at U mobility creep, trying out new mechanics or effects that might fit an existing support or maybe future ones, testing changes discussed in the community, but also some of them are definitely there for a little bit of spicy fun. Let's dive into the changes. First up, the SUBROLE passive changes. I haven't moved the heroes around from their SUBROLE passives, but you'll see that some benefit from them more than others. Tactician SUBROLE, Ana, Baptiste, Jetpack Cat, Lucio, ZENYATTA. No longer allow storage of excess ultimate charge. Tacticians now count as an additional ally for the purposes of progressing the objective. Pushing the point as Ana, Bap, or Zen is pretty annoying as you put yourself in a vulnerable position, so why not be rewarded for it? For the other two, Jetpack Cat and Lucio, the point is to encourage them to stop existing in the enemy backline. I always felt like the old one benefited some supports more than others, while this one benefits all of them, but in different ways. Medic SUBROLE, KIRIKO, LIFEWEAVER, Mercy, MOIRA. No longer provides self-healing when healing an ally. Now provides 2.5% increased healing per allied medic hero to all allies from all sources. This was made with the intention to encourage double medic team compositions to be used as a legit strategy, as the supports will do more healing. But there are some other creative ways to use it, like Reaper, who gets more HP from lifesteal. I don't know if 2.5% is the sweet spot for this. It might be too low, but we will see. The thing is, in Overwatch, if you want to win games, you have to add every little bit of extra advantage that you can get, and even if it's only 2 HP here, 5 HP there, it adds up. Survivor SUBROLE, BRIG, ILLARI, JUNO, MIZUKI, and WUYANG. Movement abilities no longer immediately start passive healing regeneration. Now provides an additional 10 maximum health for every minute a survivor remains alive, up to a maximum of 100 additional health. Bonus maximum health resets upon deaths. What if a deathless support game rewards you with making your hero a little bit stronger throughout the game? I am aware that in highly competitive play like OWCS, trades will happen and you will not benefit that much from this new passive. But this is a community crafted mode and I want to test the concept of it. The more you stay alive as a survivor, the more rewarded you are. Let's see how it plays out. And now, the heroes, alphabetically. Ana now has a jetpack. Healing shots can now critically heal allies. Base kit. Nano boost cast time has been removed. Biotic bounce major perk replaced with biotic detonation. Detonate biotic grenade mid-air by pressing its ability button again. Ana mains 1 mobility, so a jetpack seems like a spicy choice. Now you'll have an easier time repositioning on maps, and you'll have a higher chance of survival in bad matchups. As fun as it would be to just zoom all over the place, you need to be careful with your resource management. Is this going to be as strong as we think it will be? A lot of the time, Ana players are having a rough game until they get the major headshot perk. That's when they get scary. But if we have headshots on healing from the beginning, is she going to be a legit pick even on fast maps? This will also provide very good practice for players that don't quite get the Headhunter perk and might encourage them to try it out. Getting your nano boost cancelled is an incredibly frustrating experience, and you can't tell me players go for the intentional nano boost cancel interaction. It just happens. Get it out. I've been playing some Ashe recently and got the idea from there. Headhunter is an insane perk, but a lot of you still prefer the bouncy nade, so why not make it more viable? Instead of a double nade throw that might or might not land, just throw the nade above walls, shields, and so on, and activate the button again to make it explode. Baptiste. Exo Boots. Now applies homing effect to biotic grenades while Baptiste is airborne. Homing strength scales with Exo Boots charge. Immortality field is now an ultimate. Minimum health threshold increase from 20% to 40%, health increase from 125 to 300, field width increased by 50%, affected allies receive 25% more healing. Amplification matrix is now an ability. Size reduced by 65%, duration reduced from 10 seconds to 6 seconds, damage amplification reduced by 75%, healing amplification reduced by 65%, and it has a 15 seconds cooldown. Aiming healing grenades with Baptiste has always been tricky. Jumping in the middle of teamfights has always been risky. Combining these two elements will be interesting because on one hand, you're easy to track while jumping, while on the other hand, you can finally land some medium to long distance healing shots accurately because they're homing. The lamp has always had a long cooldown and has been seen as one of the best abilities in the game, but considering how much the game has changed in the last years, I think it's more fitted for it to be an ultimate. It's a buffed up version, so you'll love it even more. Heroes have a lot of ways of denying his amplification matrix, and the badly placed one feels horrible, so having a weaker version of it more often will allow BAP to find opening picks, save teammates, and set up more plays. You can place it for more burst healing in front of one of your DPS, or even yourself to look for duels. I think that this will change his gameplay flow a lot and help players understand his kit more, because the main question I've had about Baptiste has been, how do I ult? Well, now you can practice way more scenarios with less consequences. Brigitte. Whip Shot now propels Brig backwards in her facing direction when impacting the environment. Shield Bash now allows Brig to dash into the air. Rally, when used, Brig is first lifted up into the air by an invisible jetpack cat and vanishes from the battlefield. Brig can then target a location to drop onto. After landing, Rally is automatically activated. Increasing the mobility of Brig should definitely make her feel more playable on maps and against team comps that she struggles. Not to mention that this will help her disengage more consistently as well. Maybe a little bit too much spice added, but on the other hand, I do want to see what sick rollouts the players can come up with. Brig and Jetpack Cat share a long and strong connection, so I was thinking, why don't they showcase that on the battlefield too? A lot of the times you can cast Rally defensively, but with this iteration of the ult, you can use it to dive enemy backlines and chase the enemies down while yelling ILLARI. Outburst now provides 75 healing to allies within range. Captive Sun, enemies aiming at ILLARI while Captive Sun is active are now hindered. Sunburn Major Perk prevents Outburst from healing allies. ILLARI now spins 2 more times, creating an additional explosion with each spin. Instead of using Outburst only as a self-healing and repositioning tool, now it has an extra usage. I mean, if I look at the sun, I get blinded a bit. It only makes sense this happens in game 2, no? Since her ult is really easy to counter, adding this hindering effect should make it have more impact. This one is for the off-rolling DPS mains, I mean for the ILLARI off-anglers that want to take control over the entire lobby, as it gives you more damage and more mobility, making her a hyper carry. Jetpack Cat. Torbjorn and Symmetra's turrets can now be placed on Jetpack Cat. Lifeline maximum duration decreased from infinite to 10 seconds. Catnapper the Ultimate now equips Jetpack Cat with a grenade launcher that heals allies and damages enemies. It lasts for 8 seconds. Transport Shielding minor perk got replaced with Zoomies. The new perk increases movement speed by 50% and fuel capacity by 100%. Reduced the base health by 75. Testing out some easy to do hero synergies here. Just put the turrets on the cat and let the cat lurk around looking for her prey. This is something that has been requested by the community, especially after all the cat bastion we've been witnessing in the last couple of months, and I think it's time to see if this is a good way to deal with this or not. It also feels bad for the Jetpack Cat player to have the sole purpose of being someone's taxi, so at the very least, this will help you participate in fights a bit more actively rather than just autopiloting. Catnapper is becoming quite counterable, with enemies being more aware of it, and I've had some games when I just can't find a good opportunity to ult, especially on maps where I can get an environmental kill, so maybe reworking the ultimate might provide the cat a bit more versatility in team comps and make her more viable. Also, don't mess with cats. All cats have zoomies, so why not experience it in game 2? It'll feel insane to zoom across the battlefield and dodge shots, escaping only with a sliver of HP, as you're way squishier if you take this perk. This adrenaline-inducing perk helps Jetpack Cat finish kills easier, as you can follow up faster on low HP targets, transport people back into the fight rapidly, cheese some ultimates, all while piloting mindfully because you will be target number 1. JUNO, Orbital Ray, now deals 60 damage per second to enemies within range. Now travels towards Juno's location instead of always traveling forwards. Locked On, minor perk. Replaced with Wormhole. Increases hyper ring deployment distance by 50%. Upon passing through it, allies gain 25% less speed boost, but enemies are slowed by 35%. When I first saw Juno's ultimate in the trailer, I was expecting it to do damage. I mean, it's a giant orbital ray from the sky, so I wanted to explore this angle for her. A lot of the times, you don't get a lot of value from the ult as the fight is happening somewhere else. But now that it kind of follows you, it'll be interesting to see how Juno players use this. Speeding is an insanely cool ability, but a lot of the times it's seen as a budget Lucio speed boost, and I wanted Juno to have some uniqueness added to this ability, hence Wormhole. It still speed boosts your team a bit, but it also punishes enemies as it slows them down, increasing Juno's playmaking potential. Juno should be way deadlier with these changes. KIRIKO, Healing Ofuda, now seeks enemies instead of allies, dealing 10 damage per Ofuda. Kunai now heals allies instead of damaging enemies, can critically hit allies. Protection Suzu now knocks back enemies within range, knockback scales with distance thrown. Urgent Care, minor perk, replaced with Predatory Instincts. Ofuda travel 50% faster when seeking enemies below half health. Fortune Teller, minor perk, replaced with Kunai Mastery. After hitting 3 Kunai in a row, the next Kunai thrown is a guaranteed critical hit. Okay, this one needs a bit of a longer explanation. I've been playing a lot of Kiriko since her release, and her playstyle changed a lot. From her assassin headshot plus melee tracer playstyle to a lot of heal botting that she's doing right now. Throughout the years, I've heard how easy and how annoying it is to get headshotted by kunais across the map, and that the Suzu is broken, TP is broken, and so on and so on. I looked at the hero and I thought, what are her main hero identity points, like Sleep Like for Ana or Rest for Mercy, and in my mind, she's ridiculously fun because of the TP, the Suzu like it or not, and her ultimate is also iconic. Her deadliness definitely decreased as it's harder to get eliminations, but this doesn't mean that it's not fun throwing the kunai. So if it's fun, and using the Ofuda is what she's doing primarily right now anyway, why not change it? Let her heal via kunai and do damage with the Ofuda. This way, you should still feel that sick Kiri kunai spamming vibe, get rewarded for good aim and keep the hero's identity clear, while also ensuring she still has ways of pressuring enemies. The perks are made to enhance either the damaging aspect or the healing aspect of her primary kit, making them feel more consistent. The Suzu change is to maybe give it another usage. Throw it long distance to displace enemies that are focusing on allies, or even force them from a good position. I'm pretty sure she'll feel weird in the first couple of games, but I'm super curious to see how she's played once we get a hang of it. LIFEWEAVER, Torn Volley. Reload time reduced from 1.5 to 0.75 seconds. Super Bloom, major perk, move to base kit. Pedal platform can now be controlled by allies riding the platform. Tree of Life. Pulses of healing now also reduce allied cooldowns by 2 seconds per pulse and increase enemy cooldowns by 2 seconds. Only abilities which are on cooldown are affected. Arboreal Affliction, new major perk. Enemies who are stuck with Super Bloom explosions now receive 20% less healing for 1 second. LIFEWEAVER has been feeling pretty good recently, but it still feels pretty clunky to play, so decreasing the reload time should make him feel way more fluid. Super Bloom added to the base kit should give him more offensive and carry potential from the beginning of the game, rather than in the later stages when you'd get this perk. Pedal platform has always been an interesting ability, but sometimes I just want to get lifted a little bit to have the perfect angle, not all the way up. This change makes this ability literally a controllable elevator that will help you and your teammates find some sick angles that we might have never even seen before, as you can essentially reshape how you defend or attack a point. The ability turns from an optional ability into a team ability with huge influence, like a Symmetra TP. Super excited to see how it feels. To me, his ultimate always felt like a budget version of Lucio's Beat or Zenyatta's Transcendence, hence why those defensive ultimates have been deemed stronger, so I wanted to look for something that gave you a reason to favor this ultimate over others. Allies get faster cooldown regeneration, but it also increases the cooldowns of the enemies. This way, if they don't destroy the tree and they fight in its area, they might find themselves in some tricky situations. This perk was added to buff Super Bloom a bit, helps cut through the sustain in the game and should reward more aggressive LIFEWEAVER players. Let's see how big those damage numbers can get. LUCIO. LUCIO can now speed boost the payload and TS1, the push robot. Sound Barrier no longer applies overheal to LUCIO. Ultimate charge is not consumed until Sound Barrier is successfully cast. Now knocks back enemies within range. Soundwave Rider, minor perk, replaced with base build-up. Holding secondary fire gradually charges up an empowered Soundwave. Empowered Soundwaves deal up to 50% more damage and 25% more knockback. Soundwave's cooldown increased by 1 second. Stacking this with a Tactician passive will make us see the fastest map full caps ever. This is something that when I first started playing Overwatch I was wondering if he can do it or not, and now he can. It only took 10 years. Dying mid-ult animation during Lucio's ult, also known as Ajaxing, is one of the most dreadful experiences you can go through because you always hear your team sigh and feel the enemies laugh. So I wanted to remove the stress from playing him. There was a bit of miscommunication here, and from him being invulnerable while casting it, turned into him not getting his ultimate consumed if not successfully casted. It's still in the spirit of the idea. But now, it brings back some nostalgic feelings because a long time ago, a lot of ultimates, if they'd get cancelled mid-animation, you'd get a refund for them. Let's experience this again for a bit. Wall riding is a key skill to have on this hero, but sometimes, in the middle of fights, you don't have enough time or the opportunity to do it. So replacing Soundwave Rider with base build-up should make this perk a more consistent option to pick. Easier to pull off bigger boops with more impact. Mercy. Guardian Angel can now target enemies as well as allies. Now applies 30 damage over 3 seconds to enemies within 4 meters of a Mercy using Guardian Angel. Angelic Resurrection, minor perk, replaced with a Remote Resurrection. Resurrection's range is increased by 10 meters and no longer requires line of sight to initiate. One of Mercy's strengths and most fun parts of her kit is her mobility. Being able to use Guardian Angel on enemies will enhance the strength and make her even more fun to play. The damage it does if you get in range to the enemies increases her dueling potential without Valk. No more waiting for you to get Valk to go get revenge on the enemy that focuses you down. You can take matters into your own hands anytime now. Back in 2022, I brought back Mass Res, but it had a pretty small range to not make it broken. Now, I wanted players to experience how safe Reses felt. Risky Reses require your team helping you, and that doesn't always happen, so giving you the chance to cast this ability from a safe spot will definitely provide you with more successful attempts at turning around teamfights. Mizuki. Remedy Aura. Allies can now see the aura's range. Spirit Glaive can now be charged up by holding down primary fire. Charged projectiles pierce enemies and travel further. Binding Chain can now attach to walls. Pulls Mizuki towards the contact point if the chain impacts the environment. Mizuki can cancel the grapple early by jumping. Katashiro Return. Enemies can no longer see the paper doll, indicating Mizuki's return location. Paper doll now heals allies near it. Resonant Return, major perk, replaced with Rule of 3. Healing Kasa gains 1 additional charge. Each bounce now increases healing by 10, with maximum bounces reduced to 3. This one is a quality of life change. Although your allies understand that you have an aura, as Mizuki is played more now, your team should still know how big it is. The limited range on Mizuki's primary fire is pretty annoying. Him charging to increase its range should make it feel better. Giving Mizuki wall climb has crossed my mind a lot of the time. But I thought he'd aura farm way more if he just used his chain to go get to the high ground. Like, how badass is this? This will make it harder for enemies to punish Mizuki's aggressive engagements. Like, I have to predict where Tracer was 3 seconds ago when she recalls, so you should predict where I came from too, right? I know it's not the same thing and I'm biased, but this is an emotional discussion, so please understand my pain. The paper doll healing is an added bonus so that your teammates don't blame you for not getting healed while you look for an opportunity to get a pick. Managing your hats should be easier with this major perk. There is no way you'll be running out of hats unless you spam them non-stop. Concentrating the bounces to only 3 makes the sustain you offer your teammates from this ability more intentional rather than accidental. Moira. Biotic Grasp, healing range increased by 100%. Biotic Orb. Biotic Orb's trajectory is now controlled via Moira's facing direction until the first bounce. Coalescence. Ultimate charge is now gradually consumed over the duration of Coalescence. Moira can now manually cancel Coal early after consuming at least 25% ultimate charge, retaining any remaining ultimate charge. All ultimate charge is immediately lost upon death while using Coalescence. Lack of utility is always brought up when Moira is discussed. She only heals and does damage, nothing else. I'd argue that the way she administers her heal also is what hurts her in the view of the players. Giving her more range to her healing will make her a more reliable pick. No more wasting your orb across the battlefield to help an ally out, and no more wasting your healing resource when you're out of range. We've all thrown bad orbs, it happens. Giving her a bit of control to them should feel amazing. Your ultimate does a serious amount of healing and damage, no other extra effect. I've noticed that getting full value out of your ultimate is difficult, so why not use it only when you need it, for a little bit. Maybe 3 seconds instead of letting the rest of it go to waste. Shorter, faster, and more efficient casts of your ult might be just what's needed to help Moira mains thrive in current Overwatch. WUYANG. Xian Wu Staff. Orbs are now visible to WUYANG through walls. Guardian Wave now extinguishes the burning status. Ebb and Flow, major perk, replaced with Power Current. Guardian Wave is wider and carries enemies into the air. This is something that I feel everyone that played WUYANG wanted to see. Learning his initial orb control can be tricky, so even though this change might not be that big for experienced WUYANG players, it definitely encourages new players to try him out. Overwatch is a very logical game, and water counters fire, so it should be added to the game. When I first saw WUYANG's kit, I thought the Guardian Wave would be way more impactful, like the way he smacks the ground should create something very scary. Now, I feel like we'll get a better feeling of what this water college student is actually capable of. ZENYATTA, Orb of Destruction, Primary Fire, can now heal allies in addition to damage enemies. Secondary Fire can only damage enemies. Orb of Harmony no longer provides healing to allies, now increases attack speed and movement speed by 20%. Orb of Discord no longer automatically attaches to enemies, no longer detaches when Zenyatta loses line of sight for too long. Pressing the button now toggles empowering the next primary fire orb. Empowered orbs travel 200% faster and attaches Orb of Discord to enemies for 4 seconds on hit. Orb of Discord now slows targets by 30% while attached. Cooldown of 12 seconds when firing an empowered orb. Dual Harmony, major perk, replaced with Harmonic Momentum. Zenyatta can no longer place Orb of Harmony on allies. Instead, holding the Orb of Harmony button enables Zenyatta to move 50% faster, but prohibits performing some actions. I wanted Zen players to enter a flow state with this change. Pump a lot of damage into the enemies, weave some heals here and there, look for picks before fights like it usually do. Gameplay with this hero should feel very satisfying as you can always aim at something. Some number adjustments to his damage / healing and ammo might be necessary, but just wanted to throw the concept out there. Instead of leaving the Harmony Orb on someone and forgetting about it, what if you'd move it around to maximize what it does? Increasing attack speed and movement speed can benefit an ally in a ton of scenarios. Ramatra players when they go in Nemesis form, Genji when he engages, Ana when getting dived, even if all you want is for her to run away. The usages of this ability should skyrocket and create a lot of discussions on who you should be putting your orb on and when. I've always wanted his Discord to be a skill shot. It's easier to land than his usual shots, and I gave it a slow instead of increasing the damage received of the target for 2 reasons. No longer detaches when Zen loses line of sight for too long, which makes it easier for you to chase down the enemies, and it guarantees a lot of damage landed by you and your allies, because if the targets move slower, you will be able to do more consistent damage to them. Helps him in 1v1s too. The cooldown might need some adjustments though. Locking in Zenyatta and playing against really hard team comps requires a lot of assistance from your team, or you swapping. Giving yourself the possibility to run away from engages or towards them will increase his survivability a ton. I didn't want him to have the option of buffing 2 teammates with his Harmony Orbs, so that's why that perk got replaced with this one. That's it for the changes. I hope you all will enjoy playing this community crafted patch, and of course there will be some changes that hit, some that miss, some numbers that are too high, some numbers that are too low, but to me this patch is about 2 things. It's about fun and about exploring kit options. I wanted to give a huge shout out to everyone that worked on this mode. Apply, OC, Gushway, and the devs. They've been incredibly awesome, and it's been a pleasure working with them on this. A special shout out to Cactus Poppy, the GOAT, who made this footage available and has suffered non-stop DMs from me on Discord. Thank you. Have fun, everybody. I'll be seeing you all on stream or in the next YouTube video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Till next time, ML7 out.